It's week 9 NFL. Let's break down every game. What's up, everyone? It is week 9, weekly rundown with your boy El Hombre. I am joined tonight by a stranger to the NFL world, but not to this channel. He's been on our channel a lot for horse racing analytics, and he's a legend in that game. We're going to bring him over to the NFL. Let's see how he can do. Vinny, what's up, man?
Not much, man. Not much. Yeah, dipping my toe in the NFL this season, so it's been all right. It's been all right so far. So figured I'd try this.
Yeah, we have a little rivalry we just discovered, I guess recently, but he's a Philly fan, Eagles, and I'm a Lions fan. So we were just talking; it'd be fun to meet in the playoffs. So we have a little bit of that going on. Of course, if you are a Lions fan, or whether you're a Lions fan or not, you probably had noticed on Monday Night Football they won the division. They locked it up. It's a foregone conclusion. Forget about it. They already won the division. The NFC North it's over, as far as I'm concerned. Cousins is gone for the year. The Bears suck. Green Bay sucks. Anyway, we'll move along. Let's talk about Vinny. We have this is about my 5th week, I suppose, of doing this show, and so far to date, my public picks are 55.7%, so not wonderful, but we're ahead. We're making the grade here a little bit. Last week, I believe I was 10-10, but my green light picks went 7-3. If you're playing from those, so not bad, but not great. 28-28 on the spreads. Totals is where I'm winning at. 31-19. We're going to go through every game this week, starting with Thursday Night Football, and it is Wednesday evening tonight that we're recording this, so some of these lines may or may not be final. So let's jump right into this thing, man. First up, Thursday Night Football, Tennessee Titans at 3-4, going into the 4-3 Steelers. Now, this is a tough game right off the bat because of the Tennessee quarterback situation. Vinny, I'm sure you're aware. Your guy, Will Levis, goes in there and looks like a monster, looks better than Ryan Tannehill ever has. And I took some shit on this one because I've always kind of ripped Tannehill. I couldn't believe he's been in the starting quarterback position. That team's had some good teams over the years, and he's I don't know. And I got some hate because apparently a lot of the Titans fans like him a lot more than I thought. But they're going into Pittsburgh, who I think is a big giant fraud at 4-3. And where did you come out on this one? Because we have the spread, as you can see on the screen here, Steelers -3 at home and over under a 37, which it may have moved a little bit. Where are you at on this game?
I like the Titans, honestly. I don't think there's enough tape on Levis yet for Pittsburgh really to have a good game plan against him. Last week really got D-Hop involved, which I think Titans fans have been waiting all year for.
Yeah,
they get D-Hop involved. Pittsburgh's defense is, middle of the pack, but I mean, between D-Hop, if they can get the running game going with them having to play back on the receivers, I think this game's going to go. I think the Titans have a really good shot here, and I think the score is going to be over. I can't imagine the Titans only scoring like 15 points here.
I'm leaning on those two also, Titans and over, but I'm not betting this game, and it's just because of what you said at the beginning of your statement, which is that we just don't have a lot of tape on Levis. For that reason, I'm out of this one. But I mean, this could be great for Tennessee. This, because if he can do half of what he did last week, and he's half that real, which he was great. Like you said, he got Diop involved. That was great, man. That's exciting. You might be in for some excitement out of the Titans. They're 3-4, so it's not like they're dead. I had written them off as dead because I just don't believe in Tannehill. But with Levis, maybe some new life, babe.
Yeah, I mean, that division is not like they're in the best division either. So
right, they could get out of there, man. They could get out of there at least for a wild card or something. All right, moving along here. Now let's get into a real game. We have the Miami Dolphins at 6-2 going into KC at 6-2. Easily one of the couple. I mean, it's weird. This week it seems like all the good teams are playing each other and all the bad teams are playing each other. This is obviously two of the juggernauts in the NFL. Where'd you come out on this one?
I like the Chiefs, and I actually like the under. Chiefs defense.
Smart man, Vinny. You're a smart man. I knew you were a smart man.
Chiefs defense has been great all year. Miami has not beaten like a legit team in like well over a year. If you look at who they've won against, they don't beat the teams they beat are not great, and the teams that they lose to are good playoff teams. I'm expecting this game to be like a 24-21 type of game. It wouldn't. I have the Chiefs, but it wouldn't. That's one bet that I wouldn't play. I would rather just play the over under in this game than play one of these teams heads up because I do think they are kind of equal. I don't think Kansas City's as good offensively as they've been in years past.
I don't know if you can see that or not. I have 24-22 KC, which is exactly, you just said 24-21. Not good enough. I 100% agree with you. Not good enough to make a spread bet here, but the under at 24-22 puts that at 46. And this is at 51 or 50 and a half, whatever you have it at. This is an underplay, man. And again, I agree with you too. I don't like the Chiefs enough to cover. I think they kind of nailed that spread. So I'm off of that, but I do like the under a lot. So we agree 100% on that game. Let's move. 4-4 Vikings without Cousins, and we're getting a starting rookie in here, Jalen Hall, and against Atlanta, who's another 4-4. They're Jekyll and Hyde a little bit. They suck too. I mean, this is two teams that are 4-4, so it's not like they're dead, but they're both needing a spark right now. Where'd you come out on this one?
I took Minnesota, honestly, just because their run defense has been pretty solid all year, and that's the only thing Atlanta can do.
Yeah.
I am not touching this game though at all. I mean, I don't. This game could either. I feel like this game could just end up being anything. So I'm completely staying away from this game. But I do think Minnesota will come out on top because of their run defense.
Yeah, dude, I agree. There's absolutely no reason to bet this game or watch it because it's terrible unless you're hoping that Jalen Hall turns into Will Levis, which I just doubt that very seriously. But yeah, I've got this as a no bet game. I don't like the spread or the totals. We just don't know what we're looking at here. Let's move. Another real game. I said it seemed like all the good teams are playing each other. Here's a couple. Seattle. I don't know what Seattle is, but they're pretty solid. They they beat up my Lions in overtime. And Baltimore blew out my Lions. So these are the two teams that have handed my team a loss. Baltimore, to me, honestly, might be number one power ranked team in the NFL right now, based on the fact that they're number one defense, score points against, number three offense. They are balanced, man. And with the new OC in town, Lamar's throwing the ball. They look better than ever. And I came with Baltimore as my it's a top 5 best bet for me this week. Baltimore minus 5.5. They have it at 6 here. I have this game at like 27-16. I have them winning by 9 or 11. I have them winning by 11. So I like Baltimore a lot here. Where are you at on this one?
Yeah, I like Baltimore as well. I think Seattle's kind of one of these teams that they've good start, haven't really played besides the game against Detroit, which I think Detroit kind of choked that game away.
Yeah.
They haven't really played anybody either. I think Baltimore's gonna dominate them. I'm gonna take the Ravens spread as well here.
Seattle's a little guilty of that thing which you talked about the Dolphins, where they win when they're supposed to and they lose when they're supposed to. And I think they're supposed to lose this one. And I think the Ravens are making a statement the last few weeks, man. They look really good.
Yeah, I mean, the issue with Seattle is they're just not dominant on offense. You know, like they put up like 21 to 24 points a week. If that's good enough to win, they win. If it's not, they lose.
Exactly.
That's just how I think they are. I mean, they have some good players, but I mean, if Lamar keeps playing like he has the last couple of weeks, he's on his way to winning another MVP, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And I was not high on the Ravens before this season, but they have sold me the last few weeks.
Yeah, same here.
Sold me. I think they've passed everybody up. I mean, there's an argument for that, especially you being a Philly guy.
Yeah.
Let's move. Here's a 1-7 Cardinals going into Cleveland, who I think Cleveland is sneaky good, but this game, I mean, we got Arizona's getting a rookie quarterback too, right? They just traded Dobbs to Minnesota. I don't know, man. This is a game, another one where there's a big X factor here. I guess I like the over a little bit because I think Cleveland might blow them up. Arizona is fully on the sales wagon of playing for the number 1 draft pick. I don't think they're even going to try the rest of the year. And the Browns, I think, are sneaky good. Where are you at on this one?
Yeah, I think the Browns are good too. I think this spread though is I think this is a tough spread because Cleveland just
I don't want to touch the spread either, man.
they don't yeah, they just don't blow anybody out. I mean, I think the under in this game I think in my opinion makes sense. I don't see this being a super high scoring game. Yeah, I'm staying away from this game, but I would take Cleveland here.
I'm on the over, so we did disagree. That's our first disagreement. But,
yeah.
I mean, this is another one of those games where I'm on the over, but I've got a rookie quarterback for Arizona. They might not even score. Who knows?
Right.
But I do think Cleveland could run it up a little bit.
Yeah, they've just
Cleveland's been scoring the last few weeks, and I think the Cardinals are tanking. Honestly, they're done. Yeah, right? 1-7, and they just traded their lone bright spot. Dobbs was a little bit of a surprise.
Well, I think Kyler's supposed to start. I think that's why they did it. I couldn't imagine them starting. I can't imagine them paying Kyler that much money and being like, "Hey, come play for our bottom dweller team at the moment." Like,
and I think he's still not quite right. I mean, maybe obviously I'm not an expert on the Arizona Cardinals, but I will say that even if he does play, I guess I'd like to over more. But even with the rookie going in there, if it's the rookie, Clayton Tune, if it's him.
Yeah,
so be it. I still like the over, and I'm not betting the spread. I think they nailed the spread at about 8, 7.5.
Yeah, 8. Either way, I would if anything here, I would play just the Browns straight up.
Another game, just tune out, man. Unless you're a Browns or Cardinals fan specifically, why bet? You got to be a hardcore degen to get involved in that. Another bad one. And I was kind of high on the Rams a couple weeks back, especially with Kupp coming back, and I've always been a Stafford guy. The Rams at 3-5, and they're playing for. They're sounding like they're about to sell out for good too. At Green Bay, who's terrible. The Jordan Love experience is horrible, which I love to see that. I hate that kid.
He's so bad.
He's so terrible. Bad. He won't make it through this season. They have to do something. He's really bad, which I'm happy to see after his Father's Day comments.
I mean, my thing is we knew he was bad because if he was good, they would have moved off Rodgers a couple of years ago.
Like they did with Favre when they moved on to Rodgers. They knew they had something with Rodgers.
Right. Like we've known Love is bad. We've known Love is bad since like the second practice. I forget what show it was. I think it might have been Jim Rome. They did a show and like they asked how good Jordan Love was, and he's like, he was like, I talked to somebody. He like talked to like an anonymous player on the Packers who said like he's not it, and like like players know within the first couple practices if a guy's gonna be good. And they said like, years ago they said he wasn't it, so it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. So did you end up on a position where you can bet this game? Because I have this one at like 20-20 according to my my analytics tool. It just puts us like dead even 20-20, which is. The Rams, I guess, are getting 3 here on the road. I don't know.
The issue right now is who's starting for the Rams. They just signed somebody this afternoon because it doesn't look like Stafford's going to be able to play with that thumb injury.
Even if he does play, he's not right.
Right, but like, if they had Stafford back there, I would definitely take the Rams at +3 because I think the Rams are going to win. I think the Rams are just going to win this game. Anyway.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised either. Green Bay's bad, man. They're bad.
They're awful. Their offense is terrible. They don't. Yeah, I mean, I feel bad for Aaron Jones, who has talent, and they just waste him.
Yeah,
still giving AJ Dillon the ball is. Yeah, still giving AJ Dillon the ball is like the craziest thing this NFL season. Like he very clearly is not a good running back. I'm with the Rams here either way. I would be more likely to play it though if Stafford actually starts.
I'm on the over here, believe it or not, too. I just think this is going to be an ugly game, and both defenses are subpar. I don't know. My math says the over slightly, but again, not a whole lot of confidence here. 99% sure I won't bet bet this game at all.
One of these ugly games is going to end up being like the game of the week, and it's going to be like 40, final score is going to be like 40, 48, 46 or something weird like that. It's a shootout, and everybody's talking.
I was convinced, man, because Stafford looked good early in the season, and Kupp came back, and that whole thing. I was like, man, they
got no running game.
A wild card.
They got no running game. Their running back was okay. Their running back was okay for a couple games until there was tape on him, and then he was not good, and then he was hurt. It's just without their run game, they have no. Everybody's playing back on their receivers, and they're just getting killed.
Another game that probably doesn't need to be touched at all here. 3-4 Tampa going into 3-4 Houston. Texans -3, over under is 40. And I'm going to tell you right now, this is one of my top 5 bets of the week too. Go ahead and give me your thoughts first, though. I'm curious where you're at.
Is your top 5 bet the over? I'm on the over here. Oh, I like the
really?
over.
I'm actually my top 5 bet is the under. And
really, I like the
because. Well, first of all, I think Houston's going to cover as well. But not as confident as I am in the under. I have this at like 19-14 type thing. So 33 points total is what I have it at. So 7 less than Vegas. Do you have it at 40 also, the over under?
Yeah, the over under is 4 I think it's 39.5 actually currently.
So maybe
I think the Texans just the Texans just move the ball, and so does Tampa. I believe Baker though is questionable, so I don't know what that.
That's huge.
If he's not fully healthy, I mean, both teams just put up points even when they don't win. I feel like, so I feel like this is one of those games that could be like 38, 35 or something like that.
Houston's put up some wild points at times, but Tampa's defense was looking phenomenal early in the season, and then I don't know. Now they've lost. Didn't they start? They started good. I mean, I can't remember whether they were 3-1 or.
Yeah, they were another team though where they didn't really. Their early schedule was a joke.
The Lions hammered them. I got to see them up close. Baker Mayfield got pretty much exposed for the first time of the year. I think they were 3-1 when we faced them.
But even my thing is, I feel like I don't know if this is like it could be a situation like last week too with like Tampa, where like the game's lost, but then they just score garbage time touchdowns. They had like 2 garbage time touchdowns last week, and it's like, oh well, like all of a sudden that changes the whole game because. If Baker's playing, he does throw the ball downfield, and late in the game, you're just playing prevent. So he's gonna, they just eat yards at the end of the game, and that's kind of the same thing with the Texans, in my opinion, too. Where some of those games they've been out of, and then they just chunk yardage and score late in games.
Yeah, I guess I'm banking on Houston's going to be able to stop.
The
Baker Mayfield experience, and if he even goes. But again, I like Houston to cover here. My eyeball test says I wouldn't bet that with a 3-point spread, but. The analytics tell me to do so, so I'll follow that. It's a medium confidence on both of those for me. So take that for what it's worth. Here's another game with 2 horrendous teams. The Washington Commanders, they're shipping it. I mean, they just sent their best player. I was hoping the Lions would get him. We blew it, and the 49ers nabbed him for a 3rd-round pick. Defensive end, stud. I'm pissed about it, but anyway, so they're done. They're selling out. They have no shot, and the Patriots are the worst team in the NFL, bar none. There's a couple. I guess some of these teams that are shipping it, like Arizona, maybe you could say they're worse, but I think it's the Patriots anyway. Where'd you come out on this one? You betting this game?
I don't think I'm betting it, but I am leaning towards Washington, even though they did just send their best defensive players away. New England's terrible.
Yeah, they're 2 best defensive players, basically.
New England's terrible. Howell's been playing all right on offense. I guess my bet would probably be the Commanders to cover, but I wouldn't touch this game. Both these teams are tanking. They're bad teams. They're 2 bad teams.
With the Washington centering off their 2 best defensive players, And I think these are, I mean, we've said it time and time again, they're both terrible. I have this as an over and a heavy over bet because I just think this is going to be I can see Sam Howell slinging the ball 80 yards like 4 times. McLaurin diving out. It doesn't even matter who it is, but it's going to be garbage time. It's going to be meaningless because neither of these teams are playing for anything. But I think it could be one of those games that's high scoring. It is outside, right, at Gillette. So
yeah, it might be pretty cold. I mean, the under probably is.
It's getting to be kind of nasty, but
mm-hmm.
But I like the over, man, because I just think that these are 2 teams that are. I mean, I think Sam Howell, dude. I think he's getting a bad rap. He's on pace for the most sacks in the history of the league. And not saying he's great. I don't know much about the kid. He's looked good at times, and he's getting sacked at a pace worse than freaking what's his name, David Carr from 20 years ago. Whatever that was.
I mean, they're not a good team.
I'm not saying he's great. I mean, I'm just saying that he's taking a 3-step drop and getting hit before he can even plant his feet.
Oh yeah, they're just a bad team. They're just a bad team, and then they
might score 21 points in this game on defense, like turnovers. So
and then they just gave the best defensive player to San Francisco for like a jar of cookies.
Not only did my team not get him, but the team that we're going to be playing against at some point in the playoffs, probably between Philly and San Francisco, that's who it's going through in the NFC. Not good.
And the way they traded him too, like San Francisco can recoup that 3rd round pick if he doesn't re-sign. It's like the most ridiculous. So it's like, if you look at the stipulations of that trade, San Francisco robbed them. It's like if he doesn't re-sign with San Francisco. If he does, it's like if he doesn't re-sign with San Francisco gets compensation. It's like absolutely wild, that deal, if you look at the logistics of
it. I mean, it's crazy. San Francisco just continues every year. I mean, they got McCaffrey, they got all these guys. They've built this team.
They're aggressive.
Yeah,
they're an aggressive team. I mean, the offense sucks without McCaffrey. So I mean, might as well, if you can't. Yeah, if they can't score,
make sure nobody else. That's for sure.
Yep,
absolutely, man. All right, let's move. What do we at next? Another pairing of horrendous teams. The Bears. The Bears are who we thought they were.
But they are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Justin Fields. How long is he out for? I mean, I hear conflicting things on him.
I don't even think he's worthy of being a starter. I think he's terrible.
No, he's done. I don't even care if he plays. It doesn't make any difference to me in this game as far as the betting goes.
Yeah.
But I mean, we are also talking about New Orleans, who is also bad. Even at 4-4, they're in that shit NFC South. So they have a chance, I guess.
Yeah,
They are bad, man. Derek Carr sucks. Dude,
he's what he is like the most mid quarterback there is.
Yeah,
him and Cousins are just like,
throw Geno Smith in there with him. I think Geno's better under pressure.
I was gonna say I would take Geno. I would take Geno over both of them. I mean, I landed on the Saints here.
Carr's below average. Cousins is slightly above average, and Carr's below average to me. That's you're right. I mean,
it's just crazy. Like I would expect the Saints to try to run the ball a little more this week and kind of take the ball out of Carr's hands. They got Williams is this is his 3rd week back, but I think is only his 2nd week back, like actually being able to do full reps. They got Kamara still. I would expect them to just run.
Last week. I caught some.
I would expect them to just really run the ball and maybe only let Carr throw like 20, 22 times. I can't imagine that they just let him gunsling because it's clearly. Part of it's him and part of it is his receivers. I mean, besides Michael Thomas, I mean, Olave has been. I know a lot of besides Calvin Ridley, who like last week had a good game. Olave has been like the most disappointing receiver in my opinion this year. He sucked.
Inconsistent.
He's very inconsistent.
He was solid last year.
He almost won Rookie of the Year last year.
Yep.
Like this year, he
they were
just like
expecting the world from him, but now Michael Thomas coming back from the dead is
and like
the
he
best
just
receiver on that team.
he can't find his place, and he just seems disinterested at times. I mean, there were that one clip from a couple weeks ago there where Carr's yelling at him, even though he overthrew him by a building. I mean, if you watch that game a couple weeks ago, I mean, there were routes that Olave was just flat out wasn't running. It was like if he knew he wasn't getting targeted, he wasn't even bothering running. So
and you hate to see that. That's like the number one thing you hate to see on a player,
right?
Is just
so
giving up on themselves.
Yeah. I mean, I would go with the Saints in the under here. I can't imagine this is a high scoring game.
I have the Saints by 10, and the spread here is 8. I have it at 7.5. So I have this as like a moderate confidence level on the Saints, and I have this as a over. I have it at 28-18, but not.
Okay.
I mean, not by much. If it's, do you have the live for FanDuel?
I don't. I can check. Give me 2 seconds.
I mean, it's not that important to. I mean, because I have it at like 45 points, maybe 44.
Yeah, like this line, like the line you have on the screen. Yeah, the line. I would say the line you have on the screen is 40. What 41?
41.
Which I think is a little low. The live is at this is at 40. Over under still at 41.
Okay. All right. So I like the over a little bit, but not enough to bet it. I like the Saints. Again, this is one of those games. Let's not even get involved here because they're both. There's no reason to be doing that game. This game right here is even worse. The Indianapolis Colts 3-5 at Carolina 1-6 coming off their first win. Maybe Bryce Young's growing up a little bit. I don't know. Here's a surprise for you though. I have this as a lock bet of an over. This is an over game if I've ever seen one. I mean, it's 44. I don't know what the current odds are or over under is, but I'm going to tell you right now. I have this game as a freaking track meet. 27-26 is what I have it at.
Yeah,
in favor
44
of the Colts.
44 and a half right now is what FanDuel's showing. But yeah, I agree with you.
That man, jam on it.
Yeah, I agree.
These teams are both terrible on defense. And they're both, they got quarterbacks playing for their lives. They're just bad teams again, and bad teams score a lot of points on each other when they play each other.
Yep.
And
Colts have a good.
This is my second best bet of the week. Is the over here?
I can see that. I would take the Colts here. I think the Colts run game is just going to be too good for Carolina. Carolina's just bad, and like it's not all Bryce Young's fault, but they're just bad.
Yeah, that team sucks, man.
Yep.
Colts -3. It's so close on the spread that I don't think I would touch that, but that over is a play.
Yeah.
The over in that game is a big play for me there. Another game with two bad teams. The Giants, who are rivaling the Patriots as the worst club in the NFL, at the Raiders, who are also rivaling. I mean, this is the bottom of the barrel right here. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo is the worst starting quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, they benched him.
That I've never seen before. Yeah, he got benched.
They benched him. And for that reason, I'm taking the Raiders, and I'm going to take the over. I'm hoping Raiders cleaned house in the front office. Yeah, I am hoping they're starting a rookie.
Football.
I am hoping all they do is they just let him go wild, and they actually try to throw to Devontae Adams and Jacoby Myers. If this kid throws,
Devontae Adams is not going to. I mean, he's going to be one of these dudes that walks off the field
There's no way he's going to be in a Raiders uniform next year unless they make major changes.
No.
I mean, that's a given. But like,
this team is in full purge mode, dude. They're
yeah. But like, this rookie's basically going to play for a starting job here. Like, I think they just let him throw downfield. I mean, the coach, the interim coach is going to be the same way. He's playing he's got a coach to put up points basically, or like he's not going to be back. I think there's a good chance this game goes over, especially if Tyrod is still starting. I don't know who's going to have starting for the Giants. I don't know who I saw a report that Jones might be back.
No, I think it's Tyrod.
I think the Raiders just put up a ton of points here. I mean, the Giants have really not a great defense. Josh Jacobs is going to get the ball more. And as long as his rookie is halfway competent and throws to Myers and Adams, they're going to put up like 20-something. They're going to put up 28 points by themselves. So as long as the Giants don't lay a goose egg, I think this game goes over. Especially,
I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what the Giants are doing.
And one of the bets I actually really like this week is currently the Raiders, at least on FanDuel, time of recording this, they're over their individual total is at 18.5. I will gladly take that against the Giants.
I have them at 23.
Yeah, I don't think the Giants are holding anybody under 20 points. So I will take.
Especially like you said, you're going to have an inspired rookie kid in here. Maybe he falls in his face. But,
he looked good in preseason.
He can't be worse. If you watch Monday Night Football, I mean, there's a reason why that team imploded after that game. They were so bad. The Lions had the worst game of their season and still beat them by 12 or whatever.
Oh yeah,
Lions
it was
terrible. Yep. Other than the Baltimore game.
Yeah. So I mean, I honestly think this game goes over. 38, I think is low. So
I'm running from that spread. I don't think you can bet the spread.
Oh yeah, the spread is kind of but
let's go to a real game. Shall we? We have the 5-2 Cowboys going into Philly at 7-1, and I'm just going to make a statement, and I'm getting a lot of hate for this. I think the Eagles are definitely in the top couple teams in the NFC. I think they're not as good as 7-1 though. I mean, they are. Can they win the NFC, win the Super Bowl this year? Absolutely, I think they can. But they are playing down. They're playing down to their competition. It's a nail biter every week, even when they're playing trash. I mean, how many blowouts have they had? I'm sure you're more familiar with their final scores.
Yeah,
they have been nail biters with bad teams a couple times.
The issue is that the defense is not as good as it looks on paper. I've been complaining about this to my buddy who I work with all year. He's also an Eagles fan. Our middle of the field defense is terrible. Teams that throw the ball to the middle of the field just absolutely shred us. And I mean, that's why Washington took us to overtime. They kept throwing little 10-yard passes over the middle of the field, and the Eagles can't stop it. It was the same thing in the Super Bowl last year with when we played Kansas City. They just can't stop the ball over the middle of the field.
That's where Kansas City's the best too,
right? And we can stop it. Like the deep ball usually doesn't get us. Maybe once every few games it gets us. The run defense is pretty solid, but that little pass right over the middle of the field kills us. So the teams that do that kill us, which is good honestly for this game for the Eagles because Dallas doesn't do that because they just Dallas's offense. I mean, I know they exploded last week, but they're not good.
So inconsistent.
I think Dallas is. I mean, as much as the Eagles, I think I think the Eagles are legitimately more of like a 5-2, 5-3 type of team right now.
Yeah, I definitely think they're worthy of winning that division and possibly everything. I just don't think they're 7-1 good.
I don't think the Cowboys are a playoff team. Personally, they're going to make the playoffs because of the NFC, but I don't think they're worthy of a playoff team.
But don't you think the NFC's kind of swung into being?
Yeah,
tougher?
I mean, I think they're going to get. I think they're going to get a wild card spot.
They should
just because of who they play. But
the NFC North and South are both terrible.
Mm-hmm,
so you're going to get 2 or 3 teams out of the West and the East.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
The Lions will make it out of the North. Who knows who's going to make it out of the South? I thought Tampa, but they suck.
Yeah, I don't.
I guess Atlanta. I mean, they're all bad down there.
Yeah,
Saints.
I don't think I don't think Dallas is good. I think
Dallas. I think Dallas is. They've been Jekyll and Hyde it on us all year. So on this game, I actually have 24-21, which is a 3-point spread. I matched Vegas. I have it at 45 points, and they have it at 46. I can't bet this game.
Yeah, no. I mean, as an Eagles,
it seems about right. I mean, I wouldn't kill you if you think Philly could blow. I don't know.
I don't know if they'll blow. I don't think they'll blow them out, but I just, unless Dallas figures out their run game, they're just not scary. Without their run game, they're not a scary team. I mean,
and Dallas is blowing out. I mean, CeeDee Lamb looked like the greatest player on the planet last week.
CeeDee, I was just saying this to a guy at work on the way out today. CeeDee needs a quarterback that actually throws the ball downfield. If he was playing on a,
can we just.
He sucks.
Speaking of mid quarterback, he's below mid.
CeeDee Lamb, if he played 10 years ago when they still had Romo, CeeDee Lamb would be a borderline Hall of Famer because all Tony Romo did was throw the ball downfield. But because Dak is a game manager type quarterback, and that's just not the type of receiver CeeDee Lamb is. So every Right. Every now and again, he has good games when they play against bottom dweller corners.
We've talked about like 4 rookie quarterbacks starting this week. I'd take all of them over Dak. Maybe not that. I'm just, but he sucks.
He's a mid. He's a mid quarterback. He's a mid quarterback who's hyped to be a top 5 quarterback, and he's not.
Because he always has a decent team around him. One of my good friends thinks that he's elite, borderline elite. Calls him definitely a top 10. I'm like, he's not better than guys like Cousins and Goff, who I think are also slightly above average, whatever. But he's not one of them. He sucks.
No.
With that said,
he's top 20. I'll give him top 20.
yeah. He's not in the bottom third of the league, barely.
Right.
Moving along, Buffalo 5-3, at Cincy 4-3, and we've seen Cincy getting real recently after a horrendous start, just like last year. I think my guy Burrow. I'm a big Burrow fan. He looks good again. He's looking like himself. Buffalo is. This is another team, guys. I mean, this thing. I was real high on them, and I always am. They're regular season juggernauts. Then they go in and, Josh Allen still has that 1 or 2 really stupid plays every game type of thing that Matthew Stafford had when he was young. And here we go. What do we got for a spread? We got Bengals -3, over-under is 49. Where'd you come out on this one?
I don't know if I take the spread here, but I think the Bengals win this game. I feel like Buffalo is just not. They're not as good as they were.
They're not.
Their offense, honestly, outside of the game where they just blew out the Dolphins, who we said earlier might be more of that pretender level. Like, they don't score a lot. Like, their offense doesn't look good. Allen's turnover.
Well, outside of Diggs, they don't really have any weapons.
No, he's still. I mean, the last game they spread the ball around their last game. They did, which was good. Their running game, though, is garbage. I don't know. I think on the Pat McAfee show on Monday, he was saying this. I don't know what James Cook did to somebody within the Buffalo organization.
Yeah.
And not only do they not use him, but then they just go and sign Fournette. Like, the guy's averaging like 5 yards a carry. And, like, it's like on first down,
dude, I got him on my fantasy team. I'm sitting here waiting for the big week because he should be.
They hand the ball to Cook on first down. He gets 5 or 6 yards. Then they put Murray in, and Murray's averaging like 2.5 yards a carry. And they're like, "Oh, Murray is great." And it's like,
Fournette he's 5 years past his prime. Whatever.
Yeah. It baffles me how I just think their offense isn't good, and I don't like. Allen's scary when he runs the ball. I'm really not afraid of him in the pocket, though. I think the Cincinnati defense is a little bit better. I think Cincinnati wins this game.
I got a green light on the under here. 49. We have it out on the screen here. I have it at 40.5. I have this at 43. I have it at 24-19 Cincinnati. Cincinnati covers. I like that a little bit too, but I'm not so confident. I'm really confident in this under. I think this is a big underplay.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Both defenses usually
the Bengals are tightening up, man. They're not the slobs they were at the beginning of the year.
And their defense, even in those games where they lost, their defense was solid for the most part. I think outside of it was either week 1 or week 2, they let up a ton of points, but their defense has been pretty solid all year, and they're a good scoring defense too. So I feel like
last
the
week
they
too spread the ball around. I think they were trying to force the Jamar Chase, Hall of Fame numbers.
I think they
were guilty of that last year too, but now I think Mixon's a stud and he doesn't get the ball enough. They're mixing it up a little bit.
I think going into this year as well, they weren't sure if they were really going to keep T. Higgins, and now that they kept him, I think T. Higgins is also going to get the ball a lot more. I think they're kind of gonna. I think you're going to kind of see them make a gear shift and really end up being the Cincinnati everybody thought they were going to be.
Yeah, this is I love the under. I'm probably not going to bet the spread, but if I was, I'd probably take the Bengals to cover this one. I just don't know.
Yeah,
like you said, I mean, they're just better all around. They're better all around than them right now than Buffalo.
Yep.
Here's an interesting one. That was Sunday Night Football, by the way. I forgot to mention that was the night game on Sunday. Let's move to the last game of the weekend. Monday Night Football. The Chargers, with the worst coach in the NFL, And also, and I'm going to get killed for this one. Comment below if you hate this comment. The most overrated quarterback in recent years, Justin Herbert. He sucks. I won't say he sucks.
I love Herbert.
He's
I'm a
he
Justin
looks the
Herbert
part.
fan.
He's got the talent. He looks the part. I don't know whether he's dumb or whether he's a choke artist, or whether he's got concentration issues, what it is, but he's not all he's cracked up to be, to me. Not yet. He's young. All right. Because I compared him to Stafford a couple weeks ago, and I'll stand by that. Stafford looked like that when he was young too. And he grew out of it. You get beat down enough and you grow out of it. But I think he's overhyped. The Chargers are not a good team, even with arguably the best running back in the league. Where'd you come out on this one, though?
I have the Chargers here. I like the Chargers. I also like if their individual point total is at like 19.5 for this game. I like the over. I like Herbert. The issue, in my opinion, with this team is the coaching. Coaching's awful.
Yeah, it's definitely cost them a game.
It's awful. And I also I'm a fan of Eckler. I don't think Eckler is a running back that is a 20-25 carry a game running back. Like they give him so many touches, but he's really not a good, at the running back position for running the ball. He's not great, in my opinion. He's very good at catching the ball out of the backfield, but I think that's also why they struggle, because teams realize that Eckler is if you have a competent run defense, as long as you're not like a bottom 2 or 3 run defense, you're going to hold Eckler to 50, 60 yards on the ground because he doesn't run great. He catches the ball out of the backfield and does his damage. They need a legit running back there, and I'm very surprised they didn't try to go get one at the trade deadline. Their run game is atrocious, but I do like Herbert. I just think the issue, he makes mistakes because you're asking him to throw 40 times a game. Anybody's going to make a mistake throwing 40, 45 times a game. So I like the Chargers here.
You ready for this? The number one bet of the week is the Jets for me.
Really?
Hammer time, baby. They're going to win outright. They're going to win outright. The spread is Jets +3 at home. They're rolling, folks. Their defense is stellar. The MILF Hunter, the Cougar Hunter, is looking serviceable. He doesn't look good. He looks serviceable, and that's all you need to be when you have a team around you like this. Breece Hall's a stud. I love this.
I do really like Breece Hall. I think
this team with Aaron Rodgers is a Super Bowl team, even with Aaron Rodgers past his prime. And the MILF Hunter is, I think he's taken on he's realizing who he is. And he's, just don't throw 3 picks, dude. Just go out there and, take a sack, throw the ball away, be smart, and the defense will get it done for you. They're 4-3, dude, and they're rolling. And I think the Chargers are one game away from Brandon Staley getting fired. If they lose this game, I mean, come on, they gotta be considering, eject button with this guy, right?
Oh yeah, I can't believe he's still there. He's awful. He's absolutely awful. Honestly, if the Raiders didn't have that awful game, I feel like he was the first head coach fired this season. He is. Yeah. I don't know how the Chargers do it. It seems like in the last decade and a half, it seems like the Chargers, on paper, they should be brilliant. And then you look at their coaching and it's just letdown after letdown after letdown.
Yeah, because they had Phillip Rivers for 12 years or however long. They
wasted Phillip Rivers. They wasted LaDainian Tomlinson, Antonio Gates.
Come through, man.
They're wasting Keenan Allen. They just wait.
It's bad. I think the Jets money line if you need it. I mean, I think the Jets are going to win here by a touchdown even. I think you're.
It's one of those. This game feels like a game.
Vegas is usually right, and they have the Chargers winning this game. So I'm not saying.
I just think this is whereas the Jets are the Jets are finding their stride here, but it's not a must-win game for the Jets. Because the Jets the season was lost when Rodgers went down, and they're just trying to service the season. They're trying to salve. They're trying to salvage.
Who's in their division? Buffalo.
Oh, right. I'm just saying expectation wise, The season
Oh yeah, dude, I wrote
right,
this team off 4 weeks ago.
right.
But now I'm not so
Right.
sure.
But
Kind of like
they're
Tennessee, where
still
they're like,
right.
what's going to
They're
happen?
still a good team. If the Chargers lose this game, it's full panic mode.
Oh yeah.
And like I'm just hoping Justin Herbert is good enough to not have this team go in the full blown panic mode. Is more.
I think the Coug Hunters coming out on Monday Night Football.
If he, I kind of hope he does, because I have to start him in fantasy this week because my fantasy team has had a very rough. I'm in a keeper league, and I had to trade for some draft picks because I drafted Justin Jefferson this year. So you can guess how my last few weeks have gone.
Yeah, and probably the rest of the year now that they don't have a quarterback. But
oh yeah, no, I started fire sailing my team, so I've acquired some high draft picks for next year with pieces I have, but one of those pieces was Joe Burrow, which I traded for a high draft pick and Zach Wilson today. So
there you go. You're on the MILF Hunter wagon.
Yeah.
And if Justin Herbert and the Chargers lose, that's my number one bet.
Love to see it. Love to see it. See it.
Thank you, Jim. We will be watching for that one. Vinny, I guess, do you have a most confident bet of the week on any of these games, or you kind of I mean, we went by one by one here, but do you have any that stand out as
what game was it? I really like the Raiders over. That bet is probably gonna be my bet of the week right now if I had to pick one. I think they're just gonna let this kid throw
team
the ball.
Totals or the game totals.
I think both. I think the game's gonna go over. Neither team's defense is great. The over under right now I think is like 37.5 or 38.
Yep.
I think Saquon should have a good game. Yeah, should have a decent game. The Giants will find the end zone a couple of times. I think the Raiders will find the end zone more than a couple of times. I really think they just let this kid show out, and the Giants are the team to do. If you need somebody to look good this year, you play against the Giants.
That's true.
I mean,
3 out of my top 5 bets are in these garbage games.
Yeah. Everyone's going to focus on the other games, and the lines are usually better in the really good games. You know, the games that they don't think are going to take as much action. Sometimes you find a little slip up in the cracks, but the kid plays halfway as good as he did in preseason. Like, the Raiders are going to score 28, 30 points by themselves. So as long as the Giants don't lay a goose egg, I think the over hits.
And what do they have to lose by benching Garoppolo? I mean, he's proven time and time again he's
sucks.
A game manager, serviceable quarterback on his best day.
So I saw somebody earlier said, like, it's crazy that Josh McDaniels was so successful as an offensive coordinator, and then his 2 big head coaching stints, he banked everything on Tim Tebow and banked everything on Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, two guys.
Maybe he thought he was so smart that he could make those guys work. I mean,
right. I mean, Tebow did win a playoff.
Tebow was
game.
on a great team. That was a good team, Denver, though. I mean, obviously they went and won with Manning, the 700-year-old Manning. Yep. So, all right, Vincenzo, well, let's do it, man. Let's make some money. Thanks for joining us. Everybody, please subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff, and we'll run it back next week, hopefully with a good report on week 9. We'll see you soon.